Let's talk about Fantastic Four First Steps. I saw it last night, I've had some time to think about it, and now I'm ready to give you a review. Coming out of the movie, I'm not gonna lie, I was more disappointed than I was excited or happy about the film because the things that fail in this movie really resonated with me. Fortunately, I decided to sleep on it and think on the movie a little bit before I did this review. And while I still think there are some big problems with the movie, there are some really great things about it too. The first thing I want to say is it is a standalone movie. No homework required, no big tie-ins to the greater story, other than maybe a post-credits scene, as it should be. Like the old school Iron Man movie, for example. It's its own thing, and that felt really good. Production design here is outstanding. No surprise coming from the director of WandaVision that bringing that 1960s sort of blend of sci-fi futuristic stuff with retro devices and designs is so much fun here. It's beautifully done. This is probably one of the coolest, if not the coolest looking Marvel movie ever. The story also works really hard to build up the family vibe, but because family comedy is what the Fantastic Four is really all about, and that's what should be at the core. That brings us to the things that I think don't work. I think the comedy doesn't work, and it didn't work for my audience. There were very few laughs, there were a few like little snickers a couple of times, but overall, the comedy fell flat, and I think it's in the casting. These are great actors, but none of them are particularly good comedians. And it's a really complicated thing to balance that drama and comedy. And this movie actually kind of falls short of doing that. The dramatic moments that are here are not undercut by comedy, which is a very common thing that Marvel does. But to those dramatic moments, I didn't feel enough chemistry between the characters. I've heard other reviewers say that there's great chemistry. I didn't feel that. We know that Sue Storm is going to be pregnant. In that moment that we learn it, in the completeness of that moment that we've seen a little bit of in the trailer, it felt very flat. Now, I know there's a particular way that they're trying to work Reed Richards, and it makes sense what they're doing with him, but somehow Pedro Pascal isn't able to do that paranoid brainiac and still bring, heavier emotions to the screen. Vanessa Kirby is the star of this movie. Her character is the best written, and she is 100,000% the best actor. To the movie's credit, they added a lot of back and forth comedic moments between the Torch and the Thing because that's crucial to the story also, but I don't feel any of it was particularly funny. There was some okay moments. Also, the middle of the movie goes completely CGI. I have mixed feelings about it because that's the cosmic stuff, and the cosmic stuff is super important to the Fantastic Four, but they could have done something. They could have built something for us to ground to. Because while so much of this movie looks great, and there's some really great moments of CGI, it just gets mushy. It's all just mushy, flowy colors, and it just gets a little bit boring to look at. Galactus has no character development whatsoever. He is a huge character, literally and figuratively, but he has no depth whatsoever here. He's also like God-level powerful, and what they end up doing is comedic, but not in a good way. The ending of the movie feels anticlimactic. Others have commented that the score is great, and I actually agree. I think the score is pretty great for this film. I'm going to give credit to Mac Chapman as a director and the writing team, all of the writers. There were so many writers on this movie that they tried really hard to bring the important beats necessary to be a good Fantastic Four movie to life. It just felt like it all came out okay. There's not enough depth in some places. The humor doesn't land as well as it should in some places. And the balance is off because Vanessa Kirby is fantastic while everybody else is just kind of okay. It was a little distracting when Vanessa Kirby and Joseph Quinn's accents would slip through. And I also think when the new wears off and people kind of calm down about this movie and give it a second look, they're going to see some very flat dialogue. This movie felt a little flat in the characters to me. I know they did these specific things to show us that they're a family, but they just felt flat. All that said, I think the movie's absolutely fine. It's a 3 out of 5 for me. I'll probably watch it again. I'll definitely watch it again, but it's just okay. It's an okay movie, but it is the best we've seen Fantastic Four in the theater, but it does not dethrone the very best version of the Fantastic Four that's ever been made, and that's still The Incredibles.